Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us in the Goodstock-Conference. My name is Nir Issachar, and I'm very excited to lead this short session about volunteering in the community and how it can influence the empowerment of individuals. With me today are Alexandra Kissling from Costa Rica and Yossi Elimelech from Israel, two amazing leaders in their communities that will share their thoughts on the subject. So before we get started, I'll have to say that it's been a crazy year in the world in general, but specifically in the world of volunteering, it's been even a more crazy year in the world of doing good. I'll give my short version of it. I run a social organization called 2080, and we managed to recruit just over the last 10 months, over than 10,000 volunteers in just this short period. And we managed to connect them with 6,000 elders in their communities around them. We're actually helping lone elders in their day-to-day tasks. And this year was like 10 years in 10 months. So it's been a very, very meaningful experience for us. And we're here together, the three of us, to learn about what is the influence of volunteering inside the community over the world. And in order to do that, I would like to ask a few questions, and we'll start with Alexandra. Alexandra, first of all, it's very nice to meet you, and we would like you to share a bit about your organization and activity in a brief. And I will ask the question already, and I'll ask you, what was the most biggest change for you in the past year, in this COVID year that you experienced?
First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation and tell everybody that I'm really, really happy to participate in this wonderful experience. I run an organization that is called Vital Voices. And this is a global organization. The global organization is called Vital Voices Global Partnership. And it is an NGO that started in 1997 with Hillary Clinton and Madeleine Albright in an effort with World Bank and United Nations to really identify, visibilize, and empower women all around the world through mentoring in 4 key areas: leadership, human rights, economic empowerment, and political participation. In 2000, this White House project became an NGO, and it is now working in 182 countries around the world with women leaders and women networks. In Costa Rica, we are their chapter since 2010, and most our work have been done thanks to in-kind contributions and the work of many volunteers and a body of 800 mentors who service in our projects. We work mainly in economic empowerment, and we also deliver services into public and private sectors.
Amazing! Wow. So Costa Rica, it's for us in Israel, it's far away. But if I can ask you one big difference for you in your organizations that you're leading, Alexandra, what changed the most?
Well, when the pandemic started last year around this date, we were doing a project with the United Nations on women in politics, and all the contents we had at that time were designed to be given in presence. So in 3 weeks, we had to change all the contents and all the materials and all the workshops that we have prepared to do it digitally in Zoom. So that has been really, really a great change. But on the other hand, as everything, the good part is that we are able now to deliver our services all around the world. So, and incredibly, since that happened, we've started to serve other organizations from Latin America and doing projects with different countries. So that was the main impact. And from that pandemic also, we started one of the biggest projects in the community that we have right now, which is called Listening Brigades, which is helping all our mentors and coaches that are around the organization and psychologists to make brigades to go into the communities and listen to people, having an empathic and active listening to help those people who have any kind of, emotional or mental problem because of the pandemic. So this is also going really nationwide, and it's wonderful.
Wow, it's very interesting. You're saying that the world became smaller for good and bad, that you're managed to get to more places. But I can assume that the work and meaning that you're doing through your activity is much more advanced, because the need for your activity is even bigger. And I would like to ask you the last question before we move to Yossi. What is the impact about women in this year? Because you're talking about the influence about the women empowering, and our session is about how do you empower your beneficiaries. Now, I'm assuming that women is a very, very large and big audience, but what is the biggest influence that you felt about women in your organization in the past year?
The impact that our organization had in women in this year, is that correct? Yes. Well, it's been super important because, as you know, Latin America is still a machista society. I know in Israel everything is very different, but in Latin America, unfortunately, we still have this kind of, stereotypes where men have certain roles and women have also certain roles. But with the economic development and trying to eliminate poverty, the society has pushed somehow women to go and work as well. But the domestic work, they still have it. So what happens with the pandemic is that not only they had to work professionally and also being in charge of home, but since everybody had to be locked down somehow, we've been for several months, locking down and working from home. The excess of work that women had over their shoulders have increased a lot. So they suffer from depression or overload work, or even violence, against women and children. So with this project of listening brigades, we've been able to, open a door for women who are not able to express or to tell within their families that they are really suffering from stress and from anxiety and somehow from depression. So with this project, how we impacted is that we listen to them first, and if in 2 or 3 sessions they are not able to recover and to get on again with their lives, we somehow then take them to the psychiatrist or psychologist so they can have a further professional treatment. So this has been a great deal for them to feel supported by a very big group of volunteers.
Sounds like an amazing initiative and an amazing project. I can share with you, I think I work with the older adults. I can share with you the work of the caring brigades and talking with people, trying to fight loneliness. Loneliness was a big epidemic this year, not even larger than the COVID, because loneliness is a big enemy for everyone who is left behind and alone. And I feel it with you. Thank you very much, Alexandra, and we'll move on to Yossi. Yossi, so you're the Director General of the Modi'in Regional Council. Alexandra, here in Israel, we have managing areas that the local municipalities are actually divided into different areas, and Yossi is actually in charge and the head of the area called the Modi'in. Yossi, first of all, it's nice to meet you, and I would like to ask you, what is your most meaningful volunteer initiative that you felt made a difference in the past year? I know that you did a lot of initiatives, but what is the most meaningful one that you would like to share with us?
Okay, first of all, hello everyone, shalom. My name is Yossi Elimelech. I'm from Israel, and in the past 14 years, I am the Director General of Hevel Modi'in. It's a regional council with 24 villages. The council, our council, is located in the center of Israel. We had approximately 24,000 residents and 24 villages. And this year, like you say, Nir, it was a crazy year. 2020 was a different year totally for us. And we have two major volunteers project that we're proud of them. One of them is a project that we establishment a local emergency team, each villages. These teams are composed of the residents of the villages. And their main role is to provide initial solution to any problem that arises in the village, in the community. They know the residents, they know everybody, and they know how to give them a human and tailored response to each person. And it was very difficult before this year to establishment these teams, because it's a very relaxed area here. So the residents didn't feel create or something like this, but this year it was, they feel that they need someone from the community that took the problem, and he know everybody in the villages. And the second projects of the volunteers is we call them it's accessible guide. We took a group of people with different disabilities and learned them during the year. It's take us 10 months, a course of a tour guide in the nature. And in the end of the course, these people, people with disabilities, became a guide in the nature. And there is several goals for this project. One of the goals is to take these people out of their home, because they stay in the home a lot of months, and they go out from their home, and they became a guide to the students in our council in the nature, and the community have a lot of things from this project. First, the disabilities people go out from their home, and second, the students. Most of the school was closed most of the year, so they took out all the students from their home to the nature, and it was a great project.
Wow, wow! Sounds like a beautiful project, and it's good to know about it. And I have to ask, because you mentioned two amazing projects that you led, one for disabled and one for I think like an emergency helpline that people can address and ask for help. But the question for you is, how do you let's take the average citizen in your municipality, and let's not talk about volunteering, okay? Let's talk about caring, okay? About being a more caring citizen. And what do you feel that made the difference to make the non-involved citizen more involved? How do you give him more motivation to do the things that he haven't done before this year? And I'm just saying again that this year for all of us was much harder. So getting out of your shell, I live here in an eight floors building, and I think that each family here in our building suffer from other difficulties, and it's not obvious to go outside yourself to care for another. So how do you do it, Yossi, in your region, in your municipality?
I can share with you that 2 years before 2 years ago, yes, there was a very big fire in our forest, Shemen forest, and it was a big crisis, and only the work of this emergency team in this village in the middle of the forest save a life and prevent a very big disaster. So this state of emergency help us to add more volunteers and to get the community together, because this is the only way to pass this crisis together. So people actually feel that if they don't be together, they cannot pass this crisis. So,
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think that you hit the spot about when a time of crisis comes. I don't know how it is in Costa Rica, Alexandra, you'll tell us, but here in Israel, we need sometimes crisis in order to get together and to fight the, I don't know, the mutual enemy. Now it's a pandemic, so it's a big thing for us. And Yossi, I think you hit the spot, and it's right there. Alexandra, last question for you. I would like you to share with us a dream that you have for 2021 for your community, and if you can share also how do you empower your beneficiaries? How do you want to empower your beneficiaries in your community? It doesn't have to be only through volunteering, okay? It can be in any way. So share with us one dream that you have for this year.
Well, for this year, what I would really want to have is that these listening brigades really go nationwide and left no one behind, because it's not just giving the service, but helping people to know that the service is there. And since we are going online because of the pandemic, we are not allowed, to have big meetings or people getting closer. I wonder the people who need it the most, sometimes the most vulnerable people, they don't have access sometimes, to a computer, or they have access to the phone, but not exactly. So we are working with other businesses in each part of the country. And also we have been blessed by the Canadian funding and United States funding to be able to reach out those people and being able to help, and going through another NGOs in their communities that they can come to their places and be able to connect. The digital connection has been quite a problem in our country, not only for women, but the children. Most of the children are doing homeschooling, and because of inequalities, some of them have better access than the others, and that is something that is affecting education in a very big way. So I wish we could go really nationwide and have everybody that needs to be able to connect, and we empower the beneficiaries. It's interesting because it's a chain, people or women who have been able to have that service and have like their eyes open. They come and said, I want a friend that I would like to be part of this and this and this. Word by mouth, they all share their experiences and how the listening brigades are helping them to get back to their own strength and life. So that's how we are doing it at this moment.
Wow. So you're saying that some of the women you helped are coming back to you saying that they want to give back. Wow, that's amazing. And about your dream, you're saying that it's a big challenge. Also the digital challenge, we have it here also in Israel I'm assuming computerizing all of the houses. And I don't know, tell us about the educational system in Costa Rica. Have you gone back to school yet? Because here in Israel,
just now, this month, after a year, okay, they are coming, but some children, they have the choice. The ones who want to go and be present at school, they can do it. The ones that still have some fear, there are some parents that still are afraid of it. They keep doing it through digital, through the computer. So we have both, but just this March, we went back to school.
Wow. So we share your pain here in Israel because we're also just now trying to get back also in different ages, going back in different times, but I think, wow, for parents with children, with little children, not only little, but everyone that goes to school, it's been a crazy year. Wow, so Alexandra, thank you for sharing with us some thoughts. Maybe we'll have a short time for another question. Yossi, but I think Alexandra gave her answer to my next question for you. But my question for you is what are you missing now? Let's say you want to develop the next level of volunteering in the Modi'in Regional. And if I'll ask you now, what are you missing the most? What if I have a magic hat that I can take outside and give you as a present? What can I give you so the empowerment of your population, of your citizens, will be better? What can we do?
Take the corona. No, I think, but a point of view of the community and the volunteers, I think that maybe it's not easy to say, but this corona crisis makes us good for the community and for the volunteers, because I think that just from this point of view, yes, the community is now very strong after this crisis or in the end of this crisis, and the volunteers is very strong in our council. Okay, we have 24 emergency team. We have a team in every village and we have a lot of volunteers now. If I compare this 1 year ago, so we have our condition is better. So I pray that it will continue, and the volunteers and the community will be strong without this corona crisis. This is my dream.
So you're very modest. You're just asking for the COVID-19 to go away. Okay, that's a good request to finish with. Alexandra, do you have a message for us from Costa Rica that you would like to share with us for the end? Something maybe also optimistic that you can share with us?
Well, and I agree with Yossi that when things get tough, somehow people become more empathic, and when we connect, we really go deep. Suffering somehow makes us reflect and go and touch our hearts. And I think one of the things that people feel and see when we serve is that it enriches our hearts. It enriches our lives. It makes, our life have a purpose, a meaning. To really live a significant life is to be able to serve. I have one master that says, if you don't use the life to serve, then you don't serve to life. And I think service is the greatest and highest purpose of a human being. And I see that every day in the people that work volunteering. And so for me, it's an honor to participate and to motivate and to, have this exposure to people, so more people volunteer and help the other one. Thank you so much.
Wow. So to conclude this session, I'll say that I work every day with a lot of older adults, with elders. And when I meet them, some of them tell me that this year was something that they haven't met in any year of their life. And it's people that a lot of them are over 90 years old. And I think that when they reflect on their life, they feel, like you said, Alexandra, the feeling that being meaningful for another, rather if it's your family member or your children or your community, and the way that you're empowering them, it can be the biggest gift. And not even the COVID-19 will win us, and we'll win it back. And we would like to say thank you to the Goodstock Conference and to Ruach Tova for arranging this beautiful session. And it was a big privilege for me to meet you, Yossi and Alexandra. And I hope that next year we'll meet again, and we'll talk about all the dreams that we accomplished over the year in volunteering or in every dream that we have. And a big thanks and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.